Watch these 6 Star Trek Voyager episodes to understand why Janeway and Chakotay should be a couple. Few debates in Star Trek fandom are as enduring or as quietly passionate as the question of whether Captain Catherine Janeway and Commander Chakotay should have ended up together. J/C, as longtime fans affectionately call it, was never made canon, but Voyager repeatedly flirted with the idea in ways that went far beyond casual subtext. This wasn't a case of fans projecting romance where none existed. The series itself laid emotional track after emotional track, then refused to let the train arrive at the station. Janeway and Chakotay weren't just colleagues stranded far from home. They were equals forced into intimacy by isolation, trust, and shared moral burden. If you've ever wondered why so many Voyager fans remain convinced this relationship should have happened, these 6 episodes make the case better than any forum argument ever could. 1. Caretaker, Season 1, Episodes 1-2. The foundation is laid, professionally and personally. Everything begins here. Caretaker doesn't just strand Voyager in the Delta Quadrant. It fuses 2 opposing philosophies into a single command structure. Janeway, a by-the-book Starfleet captain, and Chakotay, a former Maquis leader who distrusted Starfleet authority, are forced to work together immediately or fail together. What's striking isn't the tension. It's how quickly mutual respect replaces suspicion. Janeway doesn't treat Chakotay like a defeated enemy. She treats him like a partner. Her decision to make him first officer isn't just pragmatic, it's instinctive. She recognizes leadership when she sees it, and Chakotay recognizes integrity in return. From their earliest scenes, there's a balance that feels rare in Star Trek. Chakotay challenges Janeway without undermining her. Janeway listens without losing authority. Their dynamic clicks with an ease that suggests compatibility, not just necessity. This matters because great Star Trek romances don't come from fireworks. They come from trust under pressure. Caretaker plants the seed that Janeway and Chakotay could trust each other with more than just the ship. 2 resolutions, Season 2, Episode 25. Stranded together and choosing each other. If there's one episode that keeps the J/C debate alive decades later, it's Resolutions. Janeway and Chakotay are stranded on a planet infected by a virus that prevents them from returning to Voyager. As weeks turn into months, the episode strips away rank, duty, and distance. What remains is raw companionship. Chakotay builds a home. Janeway plants flowers. They argue, tease, confide, and grow quietly dependent on each other. This isn't forced drama, it's domestic intimacy, something Star Trek rarely allows its captains. Janeway laughs more here than in most of the series combined. Chakotay softens without losing his strength. The brilliance of Resolutions is that nothing has to be said. Their closeness feels natural, unspoken, and deeply earned. When the Doctor eventually cures them and they're forced to return to Voyager, the pain isn't melodramatic, it's restrained. That restraint makes it hurt more. The final look they share isn't about regret. It's about sacrifice. They chose duty over happiness, but only because happiness was real enough to matter. 3 is Scorpion, Part 2, Season 4, Episode 1. Trust Under Fire. Season 4 marks a tonal shift for Voyager, and Scorpion, Part 2 underscores how crucial Chakotay is to Janeway, not romantically on the surface, but emotionally underneath. Janeway risks everything by aligning with the Borg. Chakotay is the one officer who can challenge her without questioning her right to command. When he confronts her, it isn't rebellion, it's concern. He understands the cost of leadership because he shares it. Their scenes together crackle with unspoken emotion. Chakotay sees the toll Janeway's choices take on her, and Janeway allows him closer than anyone else. She doesn't have to explain herself fully. He already understands. This episode reinforces a core truth of their relationship. Chakotay isn't just Janeway's first officer. He's her anchor. That kind of emotional reliance doesn't stay neatly categorized forever, no matter how hard the show tries. 4 Year of Hell, Season 4, Episodes 8-9. Love Through Devastation. Even when time resets. Year of Hell places Janeway and Chakotay in the most brutal circumstances Voyager ever faced. The ship is battered, the crew is exhausted, and hope is a dwindling resource. Through it all, Chakotay remains by Janeway's side, literally and emotionally. What's remarkable is how personal their partnership becomes. Chakotay doesn't just support Janeway's decisions. He believes in her when she no longer believes in herself. He follows her not out of duty, but faith. The quiet moments between them, shared glances, weary conversations, mutual resolve, carry more weight than any overt romantic confession ever could. Even when history resets and none of it officially happens, the emotional truth lingers for the audience. If Voyager had allowed consequences to stick, this experience would have fundamentally changed their relationship. Instead, it becomes another ghost of a love that almost was. Vive Hunters, Season 4, Episode 23. Jealousy tells the truth. When Chakotay begins a long-distance relationship with a woman from Starfleet, Janeway's reaction is telling, not because she forbids it, but because she feels it. She's supportive, encouraging, professional. And yet, there's an undercurrent of discomfort she can't quite hide. It's subtle, but it's there in her pauses, her tone, the way she processes the news. What makes this episode important is that it acknowledges what the show often tried to ignore. Janeway isn't immune to emotional conflict. Seeing Chakotay emotionally connect with someone else forces her to confront feelings she's been suppressing for years. Jealousy in Star Trek is rarely accidental. The writers knew exactly what they were,